the truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you, Dawn. She's bringing it to you every weekday at 9 in the morning. So if you wanna hear the real, this is what you gotta do. Just log online and listen to Dawn speak her mind. You're listening to the Book of Dawn in the morning. You're listening to the Book of Dawn this morning. You're listening to the Book of Dawn this morning. You're listening to the Book of Dawn. You're now tuned in to Dawn. Oh, sexy Dawn. What's in it for the black people media? Yeah.
Ooh, come on, Slick. Come on, Dawn. Come on, Dawn. Ooh. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, sunshines. Good morning, Nephew Ron.
Good morning, TT.
Good morning, Mary Q.
Hey. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. It's the same Dawn, same OG, brand new page in the Book of Dawn, though. Thank you for tuning in every weekday, 9 a.m. to the Book of Dawn, hosted by your girl, broadcasting live from the What's in It for the Black People Media Studios. We appreciate you for letting us in your hearts and your homes and wherever you choose to watch and or share us. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. It's Thursday, April 22nd. 22. That's my Spanish. I know.
Well, get down. Get down with it.
How you say April?
Abril.
Abril. A-V.
Abril.
But it's spelled
Abril.
A-V-R, right? Is it spelled? No.
It's
Or is
spelled
it-
A-B.
Okay.
A-B-R-I-L.
How do you say it's?
It's
How would I?
It's just S.
S.
Es Abril 22. Ah.
But you gotta say it backwards. You gotta
Oh.
say es
Es
22
22 de
Abril.
Abril.
Okay, well, it's 22 Abril.
Well, you better go ahead on.
You better say that.
All right,
girl.
Thursday.
It's 2021, and you know on Thursdays we do it for the culture. It is National Earth Day. Take care of the earth, y'all. Stop littering. Don't be a freaking litter bug, okay?
Oh, do you
Friggin'
feel a certain way about people that litter?
Yeah, because I used to be a litterer.
What does that tell you?
I'm a recovering litterer.
What were your thoughts when you used to litter?
I didn't care. I was just trying to get rid of whatever I was.
So what made you conscious of that?
I think I went to Earth Day celebration. Common, our homeboy, had he gave me tickets to an Earth Day celebration that he hosted, and I started reading the literature and really what damage it does, and then it was reaffirmed when I moved to the Gold Coast, and the rats was bigger than this studio, and I was yo, I can't keep feeding these puppies. Like life changed. I stopped letting then you realize, as foolish as I thought the people that had the pooper scoopers looked, you realize that's like rodent food, dog feces is. I just got my life together. I was like, you are part of the problem. Do better, girl.
Okay. So when you come across litterers, how do you address that? Do you just let them?
Well, with road rage and everything now,
Yeah.
I kind of mind my business. So,
Got it.
but I give them the look. Like
Not
the
the
gas,
look.
like the gas. Like, oh my, you're a litterer. Yeah, I'm recovering. I catch myself every now and then, like, drop something and like, and literally, oh my God, like,
Got to pick it up.
yeah, because I don't want to fall back. I don't know if there's 12 steps, but I don't want to take it.
Right on.
It's also National Jelly Bean Day. I have to say that because my oldest child is a jelly bean head. Ryan, fit Ryan is a jelly bean head. I just had to look down. I had to make sure my nose was clear and stuff. I didn't want nobody to be saying, she got boogies. Listen, we do it for the culture. And apparently the station is doing it for the culture today because that was an interesting conversation. I actually couldn't turn it off, right? That conversation that the Mace Jackson show had. Coincidentally, we will be having a conversation with a retired police officer from Queens, New York.
There used to be a gangbanger.
That
Black
was
one.
a black one who rose through the ranks from patrolman to executive in the New York City Police Department. Used to roll with the Supreme Team, one of the most notorious street gangs and dope dealers in the state of New York history, but now works tirelessly as a community advocate. He does expert witness work and really tries to mend the relationship between the community and police. And so I am excited I learned about him from watching a few television shows where he was a part of. One specifically was Hip Hop Uncovered. And he was around during 9/11. He's just got a wealth of information. He's getting a little flack from a lot of people, feeling like he maybe should have never been a police because of some of his activity. And I say, let people, clearly he was the man for the job because he worked in some of the toughest districts in New York and made a difference in the lives of the New York residents.
And I can just about bet his background is what made him make the difference.
Absolutely.
It was necessary.
Jesus Christ, if I can't do something from some of the stuff I did in my past, Lord.
You're doing
Jesus.
it. You're doing it.
Jesus. Listen, do you have some weather for us, Mary?
Yes. Hi, you guys. It's a dawn. Good morning. Yes, it is. We got the sun back.
Yay.
Hey, 41 degrees. Our high is 56 degrees. It's going to be a little bit cloudy, but Lord, thank you for the sunshine. That's where we are.
That's what we do. And
Yeah.
I heard it was going to be 80 next week, and I'm going to be gone. The blood of Jesus.
Well,
But I'm going to be in 80-degree weather as well.
yeah, you're going to be partying up.
Roll Tide. Birthdays. We got some birthdays. We got to get this out the way because we got to have at 9:30, New Jack City meets Serpico is going to be on the screen. So let's get these birthdays done. Happy birthday, Bambi, my sister. Happy birthday, Stephanie Scott. Happy birthday, Eric Robinson. Happy birthday, Reginald Smith. Happy birthday to Anna Thielen, one of the dopest photographers that I have ever encountered. Kyle Scroggins, there's always a Luther South Brave in there. We don't die, we multiply. And happy birthday to my homie Dennis Hobson, former NBA player and Chicago Bull, Ohio State graduate. Happy birthday from the Book of Dawn. Have a wonderful day. And the word of the day. It's pronounced Digerati.
Did you arrive?
Digerati. It is a noun. The origin is unknown, but it started surfacing in the 1990s. Yes, spelled Digerati, Digerati. Okay, guess what it means? People with expertise or professional involvement in information or technology. I said, how would I use that in a sentence?
I'm thinking about that right now.
Your nephew, Ron.
You took the words out of you took my turn. Well, that was cool. What's that? That's neat. Was that a new sound or was that a mistake? Because I like it. Either way. So this is the sentence. I have complete faith that the Wiftaba family Wait, I wrote it down. I have complete faith that the Wiftaba Media family's Digerati nephew Ron can handle any technology problem.
Yay, that was beautiful.
You didn't even know you a Digerati.
Digerati.
You a Digerati. Add that to your resume.
You feel me?
What is it? Yes, I'm a well-versed
Digerati,
Digerati.
right?
And they're gonna be like, huh? You got the vaccine? That's not
What kind of car you drive?
right. Digerati. And let me do this. Gotta look. I'm gonna go ahead. Today, this morning, it's in my phone because I had to screenshot it because it was so dope. I didn't know that we were gonna have two officers, right?
I love that we have two officers.
I do
This just
too.
let you know how we moving. How we moving and we grooving.
Let's get it done. So
Yes.
Hold on. Y'all, I'm looking down, Mary. Okay. Samuel J. Battle. Samuel Jesse Battle was the first black police officer in New York City. I don't know if our guest today even knows that, but I figured we would learn something together, right? Mm-hmm. After attending segregated schools in North Carolina, Battle moved north, first to Connecticut, then to NYC, where he took a job as a train porter and began studying for the New York City Police Department Civil Service exam. He was born January 16th, 1883 in New Bern, North Carolina, and left this world August 7th, 1966 in New York. You know what's cool about that?
What is?
My birthday is the 7th of May. I was born in 1966. And my mama's from the East Coast. How about that?
You be putting them together.
Not even on purpose. That wasn't, but yeah, Samuel J. Battle, first cop, New York City. I thought that was interesting. There's a couple other, in 1871, the first African-American police officer, James L. Shelton, was appointed to the force in Chicago. So, yeah, I thought it was interesting. I thought that was interesting. And now, like,
I want to become a cop for good standing.
I did that. I went to the police academy.
What happened? Because we need us.
What had happened was that it was during the time where I had decided that being in private school and all the things I knew better, I wasn't doing better. And so in my mind, I'm one of Charlie's Angels and like Christy Love, and you should see me at the range.
I'm the hero. Yes.
The ponytail with the hat.
We gotta do the range.
Yes. And so, but I had friends, right? Mm-hmm. I had friends that used to get down like our guest. And I don't know that I was mature enough to separate being that girl from the code of being a police. Corey Pegues made a good transition, and he worked with the street to make it better. I don't know that I was mature enough when I went to the police academy to separate the two.
So wait, you're saying that you would have been playing both sides of
Probably.
the track? I think that, I kind of think that that's necessary.
No, I'm saying like I knew dope boys. And I was cool with them, and I don't know that I could like if I know you selling dope and I'm the police, then what? Should I arrest you? But you my homie.
No.
Okay,
you just have a good talking to, and then you're going about your business.
Girl, it wasn't
because
no
if it was
talking to them, and
else,
I can't say their names because I don't know the statute of limitations. But you can't just walk up and be like, "Yo, homie," and I kicked it with them. They was my partner.
But you can't see. Oh, there's a way. I'm figuring
it
out.
There is not a way. There's not a way.
I'm figuring it out.
No, you better just don't do it. Yeah, well, I don't know if you have dope. I don't even think dope boys are a thing anymore because half the dope is legal.
Yeah, definitely.
Like it's not
everything is going to be legal real soon.
Right, in about 3.5 minutes. So, I couldn't. I will tell you, it was interesting. When you have to take this power test. And
what power test?
You have to, like, it's a physical fitness test. Even to get to the next level, you have to be able to run a certain distance and a certain time and do pull-ups and sit-ups and all this. And it was over at the academy over there on Jackson, over by Whitney Young. And it was I have bad allergies. And it was so freaking dusty. During the run, because it was indoor, during the run, my allergies went crazy. I was like, I cannot fail because there's dust in here. Of course, I passed because I'm not going. If it's a physical competition, I'm gonna break a bone before I lose. Yeah. Okay. And then at the end of that day, it's time to take your pee and cut your hair test because they're trying to test for drugs, right? So they cut hair, they shave hair, and you have to go pee pee. And so I go in the bathroom, I get the cup. and the police lady was like, okay, use the bathroom. I'm going to act this one out. I say, hold on. I say, real life. She say, here's your cup. I say, okay. I went to close the door.
Yes.
She
She said what?
She put the door.
She left the door open.
Said, okay. You gotta watch? Yeah. Okay, because I guess
Oh yeah, you
switch
do
their
have
pee.
to watch.
So it's me. I got the cup.
Looking like a real copper.
I said,
I'm on the interview.
I said this. They should have fired me then. I said, I don't think my pee work in front of girls. I don't think I can do this. Like, I've never peed with a human watching me other than my mom.
Hello?
And so, do you know I had to have them give me a gallon of water? It took me like 2 hours to be able to pee in front of the lady.
Because why are you looking at me, lady? Like, I get it, but dang,
like,
can't you just like turn your head at least a little? Like, can't you
pat me down?
Leave the door crack.
Pat me down. You can give me a physical search. I'm gonna pee in the cup. I don't get high. Like, and so I was the last person in the building that day because with my mental, I couldn't get the pee out. I finally got the pee out. I went to of course, then you have to go to the psych. I got into it with her.
You got into it with the psych?
Yeah, because she asked me how many siblings I had. And I told her, well, my dad has a bunch of kids, right? I didn't count them. I counted my mama's babies, right? Because I didn't want to sound crazy. Like, I got like 20, right? Mm-hmm. So I said, I have 5 siblings. Well, my brother he was deceased by then. My oldest brother. I said, well, technically living, 4. And she said, do you have the same mother and father? And I said,
dang.
Black lady. I said,
oh, she knew what was up.
I said, no. And she said, okay, how many of you have the same mother and father? And I said, 2 of us. I mean, the first 4 had the same, dad, and then me and my baby sister. She said, well, you have 1 sibling. What the? I beg your pardon. Like, now you in my mama business, okay? I said, no. I have 5. And she was like, no, you have 1. And I said, they all came from my mother's vagina. Those are my siblings.
Like, I didn't who are you talking to?
Right. She was like, no. So now I'm.
Wait, I got a question. Did you pee yet at this point?
Oh, yeah, I had pee. This was like 2 weeks later. This is the next step in the process,
okay. So you
right?
were just going through it.
Well, you have to have the evaluation, right?
Got you.
So I look behind her, and there's a photo of her. And her family. And I said, is that your family? And she says, yes. And I said, oh, okay, that's your son? She said, yeah. I said, you have 2 sons? She said, yes. Do they have the same dad? And she says, no. And I said, oh, so they're not brothers. I said to myself, you're probably not going to get the job. Anyway, she failed me. But then I went back.
She was like, you're a
because I appealed. I went back. And then she passed me because I wasn't going. I'm not going, sis. Like, I'm not. If your kids are not if your kids are siblings, then those are mine, and I'm standing on that. But she passed me the second time, and then just as the process began, I wasn't mature enough. I was just like, I was doing it probably for the wrong reasons. I was doing it more because it was a vibe. It's like being a cop was a vibe for me.
I can dig it.
I wasn't thinking long.
How old were you at that point when you say you're not mature?
24, 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I feel you.
Yeah, it was a vibe. It was very for the uniform and swag, That was in my phase of wanting to ride motorcycles and all that.
There's Halloween.
Yeah.
There's always Halloween.
We're going to take a break and come back. It's the Book of Dawn, Halloween.
Always Halloween.
I can't.
WIFTV PM. WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me. WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me.
Introducing your trusted source for high-quality Black emojis, better known as Blackmoji. We believe Black is beautiful, and that beauty should be reflected in the digital market. Now there is an app that does just that, starting with Black Greek letter organizations. Blackmoji D9 offers more than an emoji app. It is a cultural experience of Black excellence. Download the app in the Apple or Google Play Store to access a specially curated catalog of emojis representing the Divine Nine. Use the emojis to celebrate Black Greek events, acknowledge current events, support social causes, and learn about esteemed Black Greek members who blaze the trail of Black history. A portion of every subscription goes toward a scholarship fund specifically for members of Black Greek letter organizations to help keep the legacy alive. Download the Blackmoji app today.
This is Tori Muhammad, and we want you to tune in to the Tori Muhammad Show that airs here on What's in It for the Black People Media every Monday and Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. We talk and celebrate Black-owned businesses, Black entrepreneurs, and we talk to some of the best people in the food industry here in Chicago, Black chefs, Black restaurateurs. So make sure that you tune in to us every Monday and Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Hey baby girl, if you're thinking it's that same dude, this ain't that same dude that tried to talk to you. I'm older now and my conversation's alright. What you wanna talk about? Good seeing you tonight. I compliment you on your hair, your outfit, and your smile. I know you're tripping cause you haven't seen me in a while. But I'm older now, and I know more now. Don't you go nowhere, cause I'm ready, girl. I know I played some bogus games with you, girl. I wasn't ready, I wasn't a man for you, girl. I'm older now, I changed my ways on you, girl. I'm ready, girl. Baby, I'm grown now. I ain't another boy playing childish games. I wait up to a young man tried to find you, baby. I can be all up in your mix, making you feel straight. Cause I'm a grown man, doing grown man things. Started on a boy playing childish games. I wait up to a young man tried to find you, baby. I can be all up in your mix, making you feel straight. Cause I'm a grown man, doing grown man things. Get a house, a car, and anything you wanna do. But girl, that's up to you. I'm going in on you. That little kiss we had so many years ago, I still remember that, and I just can't let it go.
Welcome back. You're tuned into the Book of Dawn, broadcasting live every weekday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., right here from the What's in It for the Black People Media Studios. Who is that? Fel Davis? New playlist is out. You gonna drop that in the thread? Okay. Hey, nephew Ron been working. He's got like 6 playlists coming.
Let's do it.
So he's about to drop the first one. Can you make sure you drop Corey's social media information in the thread? Good morning, Corey. How are you?
Hey, Dawn, how you doing, sis?
I'm very well. Let me read this cool intro I wrote for you because I absolutely have read and listened to your book probably 7 times. My intro is the cop with the diddy bop who, like many, came from humble beginnings, detoured as a youth, and began selling drugs with one of the most notorious New York State street gangs. The Supreme Team made a conscious choice to do better, enlisted himself in the armed services, and rose from patrolman to deputy inspector, retired after 21 years as a New York police officer, and wrote a story about it in 2016, Once a Cop. Corey Pegues, y'all. Welcome to the Book of Dawn.
Hey, that was nice.
Yeah, I thought so.
Call my publicist and tell her that we might have to use you for the openings now.
Yeah, I'll send you that. I'll email you that. Listen, I am so excited. Once I saw you on a couple documentaries talking about crime in New York, talking about the drugs that infiltrated our cities and neighborhoods in the 1980s. And at some point, I began Googling your name and stumbled upon your book. After getting it off Amazon, because you guys can order it off Amazon, I got the audio because I like to read and hear. I was most intrigued that you narrated your own book. You used your own voice, and so it became very real to me as a listener. I'm interested in this climate. I think the time, if I had you when I wanted to have you on 2 weeks ago, I would not have been able to ask you some of the questions that I am now prepared to ask you. And so I'm going to start with the elephant in the room and ask you to give us your perspective on the trial and verdict of Derek Chauvin, if you would.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for having me, and I'm so honored to be on your show. I'm proud of you, sis, for keeping it right now real, like I always hashtag out there. So my perspective on the trial was, I think it was well put together by the prosecution. You have to understand, for so many years, black people, years, I'm talking hundreds of years, policing started with slave patrols. So, the tradition has been passed down for years and years and years and years. And we have never, ever seen justice in our community. So to have this trial, you put this white cop on trial who we physically saw take the life out of a person. So we saw Rodney King, right? 30 years ago. We saw it. It was no justice. We just saw 5 years ago Eric Garner get choked out, right? But these were like a minute, 2 minutes. But to watch, we literally watched a man take the life out of a person for 9 minutes. So white, black, Chinese, Hispanic, if you don't have blood running through your veins, you had to see this and say, this ain't right. So
Right.
this was my only concern with that entire jury was I was just hoping and praying there wasn't a cop lover on there. Because one cop lover, he's you know they don't want to hear anything because they love the police and they're gonna have a hung jury. So when that verdict came back less than 10 hours, being in law enforcement for so many years in such a high profile case, I knew it was a guilty verdict. I just
Mm-hmm.
didn't know if they was gonna get him on all three charges. I was hoping they get him on the manslaughter charge, but they came back and they hit us with a home run. They hit it with all three. Because the flip side of that is, I just did an interview right before I had to leave somebody to come to you, Dawn. I was like, listen,
I
y'all only got
appreciate
me
that.
for a few minutes. I gotta go to Sis show. This
Thank
brother
you.
out in Maryland, I was on his show, but I had to get off. But the flip side of that was, I think America would have got burned down if they didn't have no guilty verdict on this one. Like it was
Agreed.
enough, and I don't even think it would have been burned down by black people. It's been more white protesters than black protesters if we was looking in the last year, if you really had your eyes open. But
Yeah.
so I'm very happy with the outcome. I'm sad for George Floyd's family, especially his child's not gonna have her father. But it's a step.
Mhm.
I just wrote a piece for Political magazine. They published it yesterday. And I wrote in there that George Floyd didn't die in vain. We finally saw justice, but we still have a long way to go, sis. We got a
Yeah.
long way to go.
Corey, you as a coming from the streets, and knowing the griminess of the streets, and then becoming a cop. What did you use in your policing method to be able to actually make a difference as a police officer? How were you able to separate what you knew you did and then become an advocate for the community in policing? Tell us that process.
Well, for me, like Dawn, you read the book, right?
Hmm.
So you knew I had the moralistic values growing up. I was in church. My mom taught me the right thing. She just was poor. We was on welfare. She couldn't feed me like I needed to be fed. So I knew everything I was doing was wrong. And so as an adult, as I navigated from the streets and became an adult, it was like maybe paying amends back.
Hmm.
So for me, like once I stopped hustling, it was like now I have to be some type of hero for these kids in the street because the street legend heroes and you dead on jail between 3 to 5 years, especially if you had to run like I had a
Yeah.
run for like 4 or 5 years in the most violent decade in history in America in the streets with that crack cover. It
Yeah.
was like I have to move forward and give back now because I knew what I was doing was wrong, and I didn't want no other kids around the country, no matter what the ethnicity is of the child. I didn't want them to have to go through what I went through. And so now my life has been committed to be a positive role model for all the children that's out there in the same environments that I was in, dealing with the same situations, being on welfare, eating mayonnaise sandwiches, having, alcoholic father, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
I want them to look past all of that and try to see the light because today things are different than when me and you was younger, especially
Yeah.
with this thing right here, this thing
Yeah.
right here, and not just to take videos of police, but if whatever you want to be, it's in your hands. You just go to Google search, say I want to be a veterinarian, boom, pops up. YouTube will teach you how to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like we didn't have this. We had Encyclopedia Britannica. If you had to set in your house, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
So
Because they were not cheap.
exactly. The kids have the world in their hands now. So I was just committed to now I'm just committed to trying to just be a positive role model to the children.
Corey, what do you think about the defund the police movement? As a retired officer who really did justice to the job, to being a servant, a civil servant in your community, what are your views on defunding the police?
First of all, I hate that word
Okay.
because people that don't have common sense think defund means abolish police. And I don't think we want to live in a society where there's no police. We just
Hmm.
want good police. But now the other side of that, like I use restructure, reshape, reimagine. We can do all of that with policing. It's the same as defunded, but that word it rubs people the wrong way. I'm telling you. Some people really think you say defund, it's like let's get rid of the police. So my position is there's a lot of wiggle room where we could defund the police. So look, like in the New York City, the mayor just took $1 billion off the police budget.
Okay.
In every municipality, the biggest budget input in on the city is the police budget. And think about this, Dawn. For the past 25 years, crime has gone down tremendously, but police budgets have blown up tremendously. It doesn't even make sense, right? It
Right.
doesn't even make sense that crime is going. They keep saying crime is going down, but the budgets in policing are going up. So what's something ain't working here? And there's all kind of places you can find money, like the war on drugs. We've been doing it since the Reagan era. We
Hmm.
still doing it. The only way you can help a drug addict is three ways: education, treatment, and counseling. You can't keep arresting them. That's not going to help them. And America is so far back from other developed nations where drugs are legalized. The biggest drug in America is alcohol. It's legalized, only 12% alcohol in it. They're making billions of dollars off it. We could do the same thing by legalizing marijuana. Canada just opened up a safe space. You want to shoot heroin? We're going to bring you into this place. You shoot it when you come down off your high. We're going to give you some counseling, some treatment, some education. That's how you deal with the war on drugs. So we got millions and millions of dollars we could take from police from that. Then we could deal with the psychological issues. Every time a cop goes to one of these jobs where somebody has, an emotional breakdown, the cop kills them. And I kind of feel, obviously, I feel bad for the person killed, but I really feel bad for the cops because cops are unequipped to deal with people in emotional distress. You can't
Yeah.
keep it's like putting Michael Jordan on my hockey outfit and giving him 3 months training, and now he's going to be Wayne Gretzky. It don't work.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like in Oregon, they got this program called Cahoots. They've been doing for 25 years. Whenever they get a call for somebody with emotionally disturbed person, they send trained counselors there. They have master degrees, PhDs. They know how to talk somebody down, de-escalate the situation. Police can't do that. So that's
Yeah.
another thing. Stop sending police to these drug jobs, these emotionally disturbed jobs. In my perfect world, the police would just go to like rapes, murders, robberies, stolen cars, burglaries, just police stuff. All this other stuff, you can free up all of that money, reinvest in the community, have other people going to those type of jobs. So, because the police have become the dumping ground for everything. Cat in the tree, call the cops. Ladies fell down, can't get up, call the cops to pick her up. Emotionally disturbed person, call the cops, so on and so forth. We keep calling the cops, and the cops are not equipped to do this. So we need to find something different to reimagine policing. I hope I
Mm.
answered.
Absolutely, and it makes a lot of sense. One of our viewers said that, do you feel like that cops should come from the communities that they're actually working in? There's been, obviously, Chicago stays in the news. We are our shootings and loss of life in our own community, not necessarily by cops. Well, I guess both ways. Cops taking lives with Laquan McDonald and several other instances. But most recently, just 3 days ago, a 7-year-old girl, 6-year-old girl was shot sitting in the back seat, much like the episode of Snowfall. In the back seat, her dad on parole. 42, I have to crack a joke. 42 shots later, they hit 7 times. The child dies with 6 shots. The father has 1 shot and is living. We're not angry about that as we are about bad officers or officers who make poor decisions and murder people. Should the cops live in the communities that they serve, or what is your thought on that?
So my thought on residency requirements is I think that cops should live where they work for the first 5 years of their career. And I'm telling you off my experience of just being a cop. But after like, 7, 8, 9 years, you don't want to be like around a person that you just locked up for a gun and murder and stuff. But if you get them in there for 5 years, they're locked in. They have no choice but to send their kids to the same schools as our kids go to. They got to go to the same supermarkets. They got to go to the same car dealership. So now they got a vested interest in the community. They start feeling, they smell the air. They got to smell the same air. I think it should be a 5-year requirement. I'm not the guy who's saying like the cop got to live there for 20 years. After 5 years, you learn your profession, you learn your community. If you want to go buy you a nice house outside of Chicago, fine. I'm good with that. But as a commander, I had some cops that lived 75 miles from where I worked. They had no vested interest in the community. They come, they cause havoc, they go back 75 miles because they don't have to, again, go to school. When you got to go to that PTA meeting with the same guy you see on the corner every day, you're going to treat them a little bit differently. So I think that should be in the George Floyd Criminal Justice Act, like a residency requirement. But I'm not saying 20 years. It's a little unfair to the cops because they don't ask sanitation to do that. They don't ask everybody else to do that. But I do think because of the intricacies of policing, they should have a feel for the community. And I think 5 years is fair. 5 years is fair.
Now, another viewer is saying that we need Black representation in our communities, and I think that's a good point. But I'm going to use your experience in your story from Once a Cop. You experience at every level racism in promotion, racism in you told a story about you and a partner who came in at the same time and took the same test that you studied for, and that person got promoted out and you didn't, and the excuse was given to you hadn't hit the time mark to be transferred up, but that same person was, because of racism. So how, in your opinion, can we get Black representation in our communities with the racism that exists probably in every police department in the United States?
Yeah, policing don't change. The only thing is the uniform. And so let me tell you my position on the race of cops. Like, it's nice to have Black cops, but I can name a whole bunch of Black cops I don't want coming to my house. On the flip side, I can name, 100 white cops that I want to come, and vice versa. I know good Black cops, good. So I'm so off the race thing, Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
I'm stuck on I want good cops because if a
Okay.
green cop came to my house and treated me with respect, that's all I care about.
True.
I'm so off the race. It would be nice. Like there's some cities like, chocolate cities like Atlanta, they got more Black cops. Just the demographics of America, you're not gonna really have chocolate police department. Maybe like down in Alabama,
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta again. But like Chicago, New York, urban environments, the numbers just ain't there for us to have so many. But what we should be pushing and advocating for is respectful cops. That's what
Mm-hmm.
I care about. It's nice to be a melting pot. And I'm also, I've been known to say The police department should be reflective of the community. If it's 50% black, we should have 50% black cops. If it's 80% white, we should have 80% white cops. So we could start doing that too. I'm good with that. So, but I'm off this race thing because I just want good policing. I just want good cops. Because think about this, Dawn. George Floyd got murdered, right? The police chief was black, right?
True.
And he allowed Chauvin with 18 years. He was involved in 3 shootings. He killed 1 person to be the freaking training officer. So
Yeah.
here's your black police chief in Minneapolis who gets on the stands. He's saying, "Oh, this is not our policy." You allowed him. If I was the defense attorney, I just wanted to ask, why did you allow him to be the training officer?
Yeah.
So I don't know if that answers your black white issue. So
I
that's what we ask for with race. It's not about race. It's about good police officers.
Yeah, like morality, like which I guess would speak then to, is there? I did when I watched the trial. Is there like in a lot of professional careers, there's continuing ed, right? So if you're an engineer, you need continuing ed credits. If you're a nurse, you need continuing ed credits. Did your police department have continuing ed? Because I feel like maybe some of the breakdown is because you become a cop and then you're just a cop and then you just work to be promoted or be complacent. But is there like okay, you've been on the job 6 months, let's touch back on this, or is that a thing?
Yeah, so like in NYPD, and I'm pretty sure in Chicago, Detroit, these are the flagship police departments around the country. They have what they call in-service training, and even in Minneapolis, they have in-service training. So you do it like twice a year, and it's different topics. It might be search and seizure, First Amendment, tactical training. Firearms is twice a year automatically. They go into the range. And then they have what you say is continuing education. It's continued. The training is there. And Dawn, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm so off saying that cops need more training. They don't need more training because think about this. Every time somebody gets shot, we because I'm a civilian, I could say I could lump myself in the civilian. We say they need more training, and I'm saying, no, let's hold them accountable for the training that they already have. Because once you say that cops need more training, what you're telling the police department, do you know what the police departments, they go, great. So now we'll just put some training together to calm people down. It's not about training because of what you're saying. When you're saying give them more training, so you're saying like you allowed this person to go out there that wasn't untrained. No, these cops got hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of training. It's not a training issue. Like I can't train you to untrain you to be a racist. If I don't like white people, you can't make me like it. It's like me, I don't eat pork or red meat. You can't make me eat it, no matter what you say. So if I don't like white people, and I would turn my cops out, and I would tell them all the time, I understand, like this whole implicit bias. Everybody talk about implicit bias training. I think it's like the dumbest training to do because everybody has implicit bias. I don't like pork or red meat. You can't make me like it. Everybody have their own implicit bias, whatever yours are. But so if somebody don't like a segment of the community, you ain't, no matter how much training they get, they're not gonna, but you have to have good leadership in place. Like I would tell my cops and turn them out, say, listen, whatever your implicit bias is, I'm just asking you for 8 hours and 35 minutes. I need you to check them. That's fine. You could, when you get back home, do what you want to do. But while you're here and I'm in charge, I need you to treat these people with respect. And but you need good leadership. Policing is a paramilitary organization. So Pegues doing this is like Pegues is the crazy guy. When all the other commanders are like going along to get along, I'm the crazy guy because I'm actually trying to do what's right.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So
and you made that clear. Listen, if you have not, I'm gonna urge all of you to get the audio version because you'll better understand. His journey was met with resistance from some of his peers because of his approach to, listen, let's actually do the job that we are here to do, and put everything else aside. And I think you just reiterated that or explained that very clearly, because in your story, you talk about when you are giving assignments for the day and when you are literally walking the beat as the boss. Like, you're the boss, but you're not the boss that's just issuing orders. You're the boss that gives the assignments and then is in the community as the boss. I feel like that should be mandatory. That was something you did voluntarily, but why don't we see the ones sitting behind the desk? Why don't they have to be in the field? I guess is my question.
Because they're not, listen, you have to understand, they don't want to be in our communities. I'm telling you, it's just a job for them. They don't want it. So for me, like when you read in a book, like I'm walking through the project with a suit on and a tie, and they're barbecuing, and I'm going up there like, yo, put a burger on for me. Yo, give me some of that mac and cheese. And I'm with a few white cops, and they're like, ew, you gonna eat that? And I'll be like, yeah, look at all these people dying. You don't see the death rate over here? Nobody's dying, but they don't want to break bread with us. You know, that's the easiest way to have a conversation with somebody, is to break bread. But
Right.
they didn't get, like, I was so far ahead of policing in my time, but I was from the community. So to assign me to all the housing developments, or what we call projects in Brooklyn, some of the most violent in the country, you sent me home. Like, I'm going through there, and the Black community was like, you're the commander. We never seen this before. You gonna eat a hamburger with us? I said, yeah. And pack me one to go too, because when I get hungry later, I'm gonna eat it. But that was all just letting them know that you're no better than me. I'm no better than you. I'll break bread with you. Sometimes I didn't want to eat the hamburger. I put it in the car and throw it away later. But it wasn't about eating. It was just showing them that, like, you're no better than me. I'm gonna come. We're on the same level.
Yeah.
Remember, I was only a few years removed from the streets when I became a cop. It was just 5 years.
Right. Right. We're
And
gonna take.
I love my people in my community.
We're going to take a break, come back, because I know that I'm looking at some of the viewers, and I know some of them are police officers, but there was a question asked, and I'm going to let you answer it when we come back from the break. They're asking how many infractions, or what's the process when you, like Derek Chauvin, have a record like that? When does it stop going to, I'm in the union and I get a slap on the hand, or I get a citation, or whatever it's called in policing? What's the drop dead? No, you have to go. Or is there one? And I'm going to let you answer that when we come back from the break. This is the Book of Dawn, broadcasting live from the What's in It for the Black People Media. Once a Cop, Corey Pegues. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
WIFTBPM.
The Chicago Legal Network is the collaboration of attorneys that concentrate in many areas of the law most needed in Chicago neighborhoods. The CLN lawyers focus on personal injury, criminal defense, and other issues. The CLN lawyers all average over 20 years of legal experience and are dedicated to helping the Chicago community. The Chicago Legal Network is committed to developing Black lawyers through mentorship and co-representation. So if you were injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or injured on the job, or you need assistance with criminal defense, including driving violations and DUI, check out chicagolegalnetwork.com for more information, or call 773-912-3545. 773-912-3545.
Sissy's Taco Bar Pop-Up is back with more hours and more days. Check them out at their new pop-up location at The Woodlawn, located 1200 East 79th Street. Sissy's Taco Bar offers authentic street tacos infused with international soul. Now every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at The Woodlawn from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. New vegan tacos have been added to the menu too. Visit sissytacobar.com for more info.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the green side of things. It's your man, Sadiq.
And Cassiopeia.
And we need you to like,
comment,
and share
that thing
every Tuesday and Thursday from 1
to 3 p.m. on
What's in It for the Black People Media.
drinking on. I'll pay this time. Relax, unwind. It's about that time. See if your heart in love like mine. Did it hurt you so bad your love's unkind? I wanna see what you're feeling. Oh, don't disguise your feelings. You deserve a man that'll fight for you, make everything alright for you. And you deserve a man that gave a chance. He wasn't a man, he don't understand that. You deserve a man, you deserve a man that'll fight for you.
Good morning. Yeah. I see you, Dawn. Slick J Adams. Good morning. Come on.
You don't know where.
Good morning.
Galen, that couch from your old house.
This morning.
So yeah, she had it for a long time. You don't know.
Good morning.
Could have been from the west.
Right.
Could have been because, you know, that's what happened to me. I said, it was in my box. And he opened it and everything.
She's bringing it to you every weekday and night in the morning. So if you wanna hear the real, this is what you gotta do. Just long around and listen to Dawn speak her mind. In the morning, you listening to the book of Dawn. This morning, you listening to the book of Dawn. This morning, you listening to the book of Dawn. You're now tuned in
To Dawn. You talking to me at the favorite part. Welcome back. You are listening, tuned in, watching me and Mary Q. Mary's a little high, Corey. If you could see her, she's a little tipsy from the Starbucks. So the Starbucks got her over here like you just served from the Supreme team or something. So you good? And it's like a Trenti cup. Yes. Why are you drinking a gallon of coffee right now?
Good sense.
Whatever.
Good sense.
Welcome back. You're tuned into the Book of Dawn. We are having a candid conversation with, in my opinion, somebody that should be considered a decorated civil servant in New York, in the New York Police Department. Corey, before I go on, I do a joke at 10:05 every day, and so you get an opportunity to hear how good my jokes are and take a stab at it, okay?
Okay.
All right. What did Mr. and Mrs. Hamburger name their daughter? If you know this answer, nephew, I'm going to beat you up. Don't Google it. Are you Googling it? I think he was Googling it. I think I caught you. What did Mr. and Mrs. Hamburger name their daughter, Corey?
Ham and cheese.
No. You got a guess, nephew?
Come back to me.
You got a guess, Mary Q?
Bunny?
Patty.
I was almost there.
Score. What's the score? 5,299 for me. You have what, 2? What's your score? You have 2?
3.
3. And what you got, nephew? 14.5?
Yep.
Okay. All right. I win again, as usual. All right. Welcome back. We're going to now, Corey, do you remember the question I asked you before the break that was posed to us by one of our viewers about infractions? Is there, can you get fired like other jobs after you have abused the process and the people at any point, or does the union and the fraternal order protect you forever?
Well, so the rules are different in all municipalities. So like in NYPD, we have our own, structure. They actually just came out with a whole new list of infractions actually something new where like if you do this, this was going to be the time. Before they just like guessing, like if you do this, we'll figure it out. If that's my nephew's cousin, next door neighbor, we'll give him a pass. But now they actually got some structured penalties coming down. And so
Okay.
the unions are very strong in America. People got to understand that. And
Mm-hmm.
so is there a list? No, because sometimes you have cops with 20, 30 complaints. Now, are they little complaints or are they big complaints? But then, there's a small, very, very small segment of the community that purposely make complaints on cops too. So, like, you have
True.
to really look at this stuff. You got to look at it objectively and really, really drill it down. So, to answer, is there like if they do something like commit a shooting or corruption, those big things, yeah, those are fireable offenses immediately for the most part.
Okay.
It's like it's hard to get rid of cops with these union laws. It's really hard. That's why
Yeah.
this citizens always say why they didn't fire them because of the contracts. They can't fire them. That's why they see like the female that shot Dante out there in Minneapolis. She's able to resign, and everybody say why they didn't fire him? Why they fire him? Because the laws are so stringent that hey, she can't get fired. You can suspend her with no pay until the trial.
Mm.
So like the laws are the laws, so we can't get around those. But still, like, but there's tricks. Like for me, like there's tricks. Like if I can't fire you, I just disrupt your whole life. You'll never see the streets again. So you're Derek Chauvin. I'm gonna plant you next to the phone. You're gonna be our permanent phone operator.
Yeah.
You will answer the phones every day. We got
Which
hospitalized prisoner. You're going to the hospital every time a prisoner is hospitalized. We need somebody to go, but you will never interact with the public again.
Yeah, well, and I guess then I just I guess my question or to that would be, so then do we hold the sergeants and the lieutenants accountable when they have perpetuated a Derek Chauvin on the street? Why aren't we looking to charge whoever that lieutenant or sergeant was that knew that he was, ready to explode or racist or whatever was in his record? Why aren't they being held accountable like the other officers will be that were with him being held accountable?
Well, that's a great question, and that's the question in the room. So the leadership, so I talk about leadership in my book too. So leadership is so important. So if you don't have good leaders, you're not gonna have a good organization. And it's just not policing. So you have to make sure that if you don't have good leadership, it's just not gonna work, Dawn. And it's a tough profession because everyone goes along to get along. Do you know in the police world they really believe a cop that has a lot of complaints is a good cop? So this is what they really believe. They
Wow.
believe, I'm telling you, Dawn, they believe like so you take we'll just use somebody. You'll take a cop named Mike. He's on the streets and he got 30 complaints. So the police mindset is because he has more contacts with people, there's a higher probability for him to get complaints. And so I debunked that with my partner who had 100 gun arrests and he had zero complaints.
Mm.
Like, how could this Irish cop who had 100 gun arrests and he has zero complaints, but this other guy, he has no gun arrests, but he got all this use of force complaints, discourteous remarks, all kind of stuff
Mm-hmm.
because they just go along and get along and they pacify people. And it's steeped in tradition. It's
Mm.
steeped in tradition, and that tradition just keeps following. Minorities didn't really start getting into policing it with heavy numbers until like the 90s from the state Safe Streets, Safe Cities. Bill Clinton, I think he started that Safe Street.
Mm-hmm.
So like they gave a lot of money to governments to put more minorities in policing. So we're like 150 years back
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
tradition.
I like that you, at the onset of this conversation, there was a guest on a show prior to our show, and he said, he basically said that he didn't really fully understand the host and the boss who Maze Jackson, the my brother who created this platform, right? Mentioned he and one of his co-hosts mentioned that policing came from slavery, right? From policing essentially or property, which was us the slaves, slave patrol, right? You spoke about that early on. I don't think that a whole lot of people who haven't done a whole lot of research understand that, because the guest prior did not understand that. I think there's this, let's sweep it under the rug, like it was created out of fluffy flowers and bunny rabbits, but it was literally created against us. And of course it is, because it was the institution.
Like imagine if the KKK started letting black people in, like that doesn't change what it came from.
Exactly.
So I'm of the mindset, Dawn, that the criminal justice system needs to have like he just said, an atomic bomb, blow it up and build it from scratch. Because like he said, like the tradition is still there. It's like when I became a cop in '92 with my partner. His father came on in the 60s. His grandfather came on in like the 40s, and he would come to work and give me tips on what his father and grandfather said. I was like, Brian, it's 1992. We don't do that stuff no more.
Right.
Are you crazy? So it's so steeped in tradition that they're getting these, like, oh, this is how you got to treat these people now. What do you mean treat these people? It's still, and the other thing, like, it's one of the only professions that I know, and this is deep, I tell people all the time, that you could go in, not be racist and leave racist. So I use like the millennial today, right?
Okay.
They love black people, they love white people, they're all kissing and hugging, they're having babies, interracial. He don't hate black people, but he comes into policing, and policing tells him, you're working in this shithole. You go over there. This is how you treat these people. So he starts developing this dislike for black people. Now you put the black millennial who love white. He got a white girlfriend, white child. He loves the white people. No problem. They all get along. But he started disliking white people because he see the way the white cops are treating his community. It's a crazy dynamic.
Yeah.
It's one of the only professions you could go and not be racist, but because of the culture, it's so embedded in racism that you start being a racist. You don't even realize it.
Yeah, because when you're would you agree? Because I'm thinking because you're in the cult, you can't separate yourself from the culture of what you're doing for 8.5 hours every single day. And then
at some point you got to come to a decision. You got to look at yourself and where you stand.
Yeah.
And then it'll change you. It will change you.
It'll change you if you allow it to change you to change. So like I never, I still have my same friends from when I was young, 40-year relationships. Like I never like really hung out with cops. I don't do the black-white jokes because when I leave the room, the joke is going to be on me. And I didn't really like to go out with cops that didn't look like me, because when you mix in cops, guns, jokes, they get drunk,
and alcohol.
They want to say something crazy, and alcohol. It's
the truth comes out. That's what happens.
Right.
Yeah.
So
the truth comes out.
So for 21 years, I was the outcast. Like nobody would want to hang out with me. It was fine because I was just trying to get a house, 2 cars, white picket fence, take care of my family. I didn't want to develop relationships with racist, rogue, disrespectful, corrupt cops.
Yeah. That was a mouthful. Racist, rogue, disrespectful cops. That we should probably make that the hashtag of the day. Okay, so I'm gonna switch gears because I have to ask you. I just watched Jam Master Jay was a good friend of mine, and I found out
he was a friend of mine.
I know, and that's why I'm bringing it up, because I watched the newest. Came on. It's on Hulu. I forgot the name of it, but it just was released.
Miles. Yes.
Yeah. Is New York City the only police department that had a hip hop division?
Yeah. Well, we started it. Yeah, we had the hip hop cops. So what was happening? We was getting a lot of problems in all these parties, the hip hop parties. Back in the '90s, the hip hop parties. Be shootings and stabbing. So it was easy for us to it's just like they infiltrated the Black Panthers,
Okay.
Same thing. We had to infiltrate hip hop,
Okay.
So We had to just to get relationships to find out who's who and what's what. Hip hop has its criminal
Hmm.
element. So yeah, we have a whole division, an intelligence division. They were it never. But what's funny is, so like when I was commanding East Flatbush, Brooklyn, I had one of the big clubs where all the hip hop artists would come to.
Hmm.
Snoop, Rick Ross, all of them. But they all have relationships with the hip. So like if Snoop is coming to my town, hip hop cops is gonna call his team and say, listen, all right, y'all coming through. We're gonna be out there. Do y'all need anything? So they actually like these hip hop artists have relationships with hip. Like I would show up. I remember showing up and Snoop was performing or Rick Ross, and they had like searching everybody, and Rick Ross got the bag. And I said, "Yo, y'all not searching Rick Ross? He has the gun. You better search." I say, Rick, you shit. Listen, if you could go back in the bus and put that bag down, but since I'm here, we can search you because I don't want no guns in there. But but the hip hop cops, they got but the people know a lot of these hip hop guys will call the hip hop cops if they know they're having a problem in the city. They'll call and be like, "Yo, I got a beef with Snoop, or I got a beef with Dre, or whoever. Like, we coming in town for a show." And
Mm.
so then we'll send more manpower over there.
It's because I mean, obviously, all these young rappers, some from Chicago, are involved in these shootings in Atlanta, and why doesn't every department have a hip hop division, or you don't have to call it hip hop or whatever that division is, to make certain, because we do know there's a lot of beef in music. Like I think you called them keyboard gangsters. I think that was the term you used. A lot of keyboard gangsters, a lot of studio gangsters, but for some people this shit is real, like, and the beef turns into life and death, literally. Is that something that you would advocate for in cities that have a huge presence in hip-hop? Chicago, Atlanta, New York, LA.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you have to have that intelligence division. You have to get that intel because what we try to do before I became a cop, policing was reactive. So somebody got shot, we show up with the yellow tape, boom. But now, since like the mid '90s, it's more of a proactive in policing, meaning when you get shot, I want to know who your last 5 relationships are. I need to see who your boyfriend is. I want to know your grandmother. So that's what policing is now. And so that's why it's so important and imperative to have intel. So that, you know, this Chicago rapper got a beef with this one and they're going to be in the same city. You got to have intel if you want to prevent the shootings. You have to have intel. And the only way you get intel is to infiltrate.
Gotcha. Um, can you tell us about your family? Because I know that I've watched many interviews with you in preparation for this one, and you talk about the birth of your child and really that you're being your inspiration and catalyst to really make a difference in the lives of the community. Can you share with us how your family is?
Yeah, my family is beautiful. They all doing good. I have a daughter that's a cop in NYPD. I don't know if you know that. I
I
have a daughter
did.
that's a cop in NYPD. I have a nephew that's a detective in NYPD. So they follow my footsteps. I'm very happy about that. And I don't know if you know, I have a feature documentary called A Cops and Robbers Story that's going to be coming out soon. And my oldest son is playing me. He's starring as me. So
Oh, I
we've been shooting it.
cannot
We
wait
shot
for
it for
that.
3 years. Yeah, it's dope. Actually, I
Mary,
just was playing.
Mary
Yeah.
Q just asked that question. She said, "Will there be a movie coming?" But I guess he answered you. Cops and
Well, I have
robbers.
a lot of stuff coming up. It's probably going to be a television series before a movie. So we're
That's
working
what it
hard.
sounds
I have
like.
a lot of stuff going on.
That's
Yeah.
a good move. Congratulations.
That is a good move.
Thank you. We're
And
praying.
so
We're
you got
praying.
a daughter in NYPD. That's crazy. So my NYPD connection, not really a connection, but Maura Smith, I'm sure you know her because you were on the force when 9/11 happened. Um, the daughter of Maura Smith, who is the white officer and I believe the only female officer that died in 9/11,
Yep.
um, is her daughter is my daughter's roommate at Alabama. How cool is that?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Her daughter is your daughter's what?
Roommate in college right now.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Wow.
her dad Jim, is a retired New York officer, but that's my New York police connection. So
Well, now you have me now. You have
you
me
bet.
now.
And I promise you, I'm gonna be like, Corey, can you when the movie comes out, when the TV show comes out, and hey, I'm kind of like a cop. I don't know if
You got to
believe-
put her in the series.
Yeah, I was a little. I couldn't make the transition when you chose to turn your back on the Supreme Team and do what you had to do for your family. I don't know if I could. I didn't make that decision well, which is why I'm the best cop that never made the streets. Yeah, but I saved my life.
You know what? It's crazy. Like, I'm getting all of this Hollywood interest in my story, like a tremendous amount. And it's like they couldn't even put a writer's room together, like 8 writers, to come up with this story. My life story is something Hollywood never even seen, because usually it's like I would be the poster child for this is what a corrupt cop is gonna look like.
Yeah.
But I did a whole 180, and people just can't believe it. Dawn, you read the book. They just can't believe that somebody that was so deeply embedded in the streets actually changed his life to be, get a few degrees, become this executive, be a professor in 2 different colleges. They just can't believe it. They're just waiting for me to go back to a criminal element. I don't know why they're waiting for that, because I don't want that no more.
Well, I even just saw a recent interview you did on, I want to say CNN, and this was really recent, like in the last couple months, and the question was posed to you: what do you say to the people who say you should have never been a cop? And I'm like, what do you mean? What do you say? Like, everybody's entitled to grow up.
Yeah. Well, that was what Don Lemon asked me that question, but Don Lemon I was happy he asked that question, because I needed to answer that question. I really needed to answer that question for people, because like I said, if people want to keep you in the doldrums, you were sold drugs, that's what you are to the end of time. No,
Yeah.
we're doctors, we're lawyers, presidents of the United States. Like, we can change. I'm 52, right? I
Yeah.
sold drugs for 5 years. And people want to forget 47 years of my life. They're like, you sold drugs for 5 years. We need to lock you away to the end of the time.
Right. And throw away the key.
They just forgot 47 other years. They just forget those 47 years. We want to talk about those 5 years that happened 30 years ago.
Yeah. In the development of your youth. I mean,
right.
Literally. Go ahead. You were about to say
So would you get involved in the cannabis business at this point in your life?
Man, I'm dying to get in the cannabis business.
Maybe that's kind of like that variation of getting back in the game.
No, not really that. No, I mean, it's going to be the next big lucrative thing. But what you don't know is I'm a national speaker for LEAP, Law Enforcement Action Partnership, and they fly me around the country I've been speaking about legalizing marijuana for like the past 5 years. I've been going around the country telling people how to legalize. Because again, I already told you earlier, counseling, education, and treatment. And once you legalize drugs, you take the criminal element is out. If I could go to CVS and buy 3 ounces, why would I go on 18th Street in the rain, knock on the door, tap, go down into a basement to buy 3 ounces and don't even know what the hell I'm smoking anyway?
Yeah, that part.
So let's legalize it, and it would be much better.
Yeah, well,
we're here.
One thing you said that even though I love champagne and even I won't be distracted by what you said, but I heard what you said is alcohol is the number one drug, and when it's legal, and we don't, and it causes the same inebriation as any other drug, and it is $1 billion industry, and we're not policing that. And so why are we
Let me tell you, as a cop for 21 years and being in charge overseeing hundreds of thousands of crimes, I can't name one crime where somebody was high on marijuana and that was an aggravating factor that they committed the crime. I could tell you countless of DWI killings, I could tell you so many drunk people taking guns and people get high. They just want to go to sleep. They want some munchies. We know the drill. We know
Right,
the drill.
right.
We know the drill. So listen, I'm gonna take marijuana over alcohol every single day. So let's legalize it. And they talk about infrastructure and potholes, bridges, and all of this needs help. You legalize marijuana, the money that you're gonna get, all you gotta do is look at Denver, look at Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Massachusetts is so much money, they going crazy.
Yeah. Well, we have it in
Denver.
Chicago now. Well, in the
Yeah.
state of Illinois. Let me take that back. State of Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
But the key is, I guess, the federal legislation, so that you can, so that it can be state to state, because that's where the Fed time is the real time in the policing or the management thereof. So once we can get the federal legislation, then we'll.
Yeah, because the feds ain't no 2 to 6. It's like 480 months. Be like, huh? I can't even count. How many years is that?
Right. 24. Yeah. And then you start jumping rope with it. 10, 20, 34. Because, yeah, 480 months sounds not long, but that shit's your life. Okay. Let's be clear. Jumpin' Jack Flash, one of our viewers said they just bought your book and are excited to hear it. When I tell you, I literally listening to that. You know how you driving and you're listening and the part gets so good, you're at your destination and you're late already. But I'm like, I can't leave till the end of the chapter. Literally, like, I'm just gonna be late, and I'm literally sitting outside, like, yeah, I've got to finish the chapter because.
Can I tell you how that came about? Me
Please
doing
do.
my own audiobook really quick.
Please do.
So you know the audiobook world, there's like professionals that do it. So when I signed a deal with Simon and Schuster, they said we're gonna do an audio. You got an audio book deal. We got you a board. I said, all right, cool. So they sent me these voices, and it was like, I said, these voices ain't gonna work. I said, these are white guys. They was like, yeah. I said, send me some black voices. The black voices was worse than the white voices. I was like, yo, this ain't gonna work. When I'm talking about running down the street with a gun with Smooth and Dre and all. I said, can I try this myself? They was like, you can try it. We'll just pay you the same as we was gonna pay the guy to do it. I said, let me give it a try. So they sent me to the studio in Midtown Manhattan, and I was there for 3 days, for 8 hours a day, 3 or 4 days.
Wow.
And after the first hour or two, there was an engineer who did it, and I was in the booth, and I'm looking at him like, what do you think? And he's like, it's good. He was like, yo, this is amazing. I was like, okay. But when the audiobook came out, there's some people who really do audiobooks.
Yeah.
This lady wrote me the worst review ever. She was like, that's why people that write their own memoir shouldn't do their own audio.
You know what? I'm going to tell you, I don't think...
She cursed me out on that review.
I don't think that it would have... I don't think I would have been as interested if... I think I was more intrigued with it because it was your voice. I mean, you clearly know you have the accent of your birthplace, which already is fascinating to people like me from Chicago. But just because it was real, it was authentic. It wasn't like hearing James Earl Jones saying it, because he cannot tell nobody can tell your story the way you tell it.
Exactly. And I know when to inflect,
Absolutely.
I know that this was a very important part, and it was just really me sitting there in the booth reading. I had to read the whole book page by page, but it was like bringing a lot of memories out. So you got my emotion while I'm hoping that when you was listening to the book, I was bringing you into the scene, because it was very vivid how we described it in the book.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna let me just finish out with him, and then we'll take a break. Okay. Before I let you go, I have to put you on the hook. So when the world opens back up, when you come to Chicago, because we probably should have you speak to some of the kids in Chicago and maybe some of the damn police. I hope my police
everybody.
But you have to promise to make your way this way so we can share you with the rest of the city. But before I let you off the line today, tell me how you came up with the names of the chapters in the book. They are fascinating.
Let me tell you, Yo, it was just like when I wrote the book, right, and I signed the deal, I came into Simon and Schuster with 300 pages. I wrote my own book. People
Okay.
don't realize I wrote my own book, but if you would have read my manuscript, you'd probably be asleep on page two, right? It was just like I was born in 1968, boom, 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 boom. I don't know how to write a book. You know, I'm a
Yeah.
hustler. I was a cop. I don't know how to do that. So they brought in a New York Times bestselling author to
Okay.
help me formulate it. And
Uh-huh.
that's how we came. Like we would just do the chapter. You know, he basically took my entire manuscript and like we just moved stuff around and did it. But he came up with all of these chapter names. It was like 900 570. So you didn't know what the hell those numbers were, but that was the chapter when I just became a cop. Or when it was like, God, please, oh God, please. So we was just writing, and he would just take a line from every chapter. And it was
Uh,
great. But it was a fascinating experience learning how to write a book from the beginning to the end. It's a 2 year process, no matter what. It was 2 years that I had to wait. But it was great to sit at a table with Simon and Schuster, Doubleday, Random House, and they all bid on my story. I don't know if you know that.
I
I had
didn't
like
know
a
that.
bidding war. Yeah. So it was cool because when they walked in, my agent, what you don't know is I journaled my entire career. Like 20 years, I journaled.
You had to have because you the book is so
Yeah.
detailed. There was no
Right.
way you remembered that just sitting down writing. It was very
Exactly.
detailed.
So when
Yeah.
they would come in, like Doubleday, they came in, the representatives, they was asking, like, what are those books? And they was like, oh, he was just been journaling his whole career. It was like he was journaling all of this stuff now. So everything in my book is like qualified and quantified. It was checks and balances with everything. And there's a whole lot of stuff that didn't even make the book. But because
Well,
it's
that
only
well, there's always part two. And if Power can have book 1 through 10, so
well,
can
I just finished my second book. I just wrote a children's book, If I Was a Superhero. It'll
Is
be
it
coming
out?
out. No, it's gonna be coming out probably in the third quarter of this year. I'm
Okay.
targeting age 5 to 8 years old. I'm a superhero. I got my own logo. I got a cape. I got all kind of stuff going on there.
Well, you actually do have a cape, and that's why we wanted to have you on the Book of Dawn. Say it.
Questions.
Uh, Go ahead.
Is he Chicago?
No, no, no. He's from Queens. You can't tell.
Wait a minute, we lost them.
Oh, did we? Did we?
Yeah, we lost them for a moment.
Is he back? Okay, let's take a break then, and then we'll catch him on the back.
WIFTBPM.
Shop at Black owned and operated Solo Beauty, where you are appreciated and respected. Located at 8158 South Cottage Grove, Solo Beauty can supply all of your black hair care needs. Solo Beauty is open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., Tuesday through Saturday.
What's up,
Hi,
everybody?
Dawn.
Welcome to the green side of things. Man,
Thank you for
Sadiq,
having
And
me.
Cassiopeia,
and we need you to like
comment
and share
that thing
every Tuesday and Thursday from 1.
to 3 p.m. on
What's in it for the Black People Media?
Who that? That's Marquel. That's Marquel Jordan, y'all. That's on the new Book of Dawn playlist. Out now on SoundCloud. Did you put it in the thread, nephew?
The song is called Last Call.
Last call. Last call for alcohol. No, that's me. Sorry, y'all. I did that. Sorry. Okay, we lost you for a minute. Somebody was trying to not let me be great. But I was saying before we lost you, you are actually a superhero because not many of us can be born. Your struggle was real. with your family, with your mother, with your upbringing, and you literally had the wherewithal and understanding to change your life, which changed the life of your children, which will change the life of their children and a generation to come. And that's what real superheroes do. I want to say that the last line in something written about you, I can't take credit for this one. I just like it. It says that Corey believes it is his duty to challenge the culture of racism, silence, and arrogance in police. It says NYPD, but I'm going to say policing, because if you can change NYPD, then maybe we can use that as a hope and a promise to change the culture in policing across our nation. So I'm looking forward to the book coming out. I'm looking forward to having you in Chicago and maybe doing some stuff to help change our community. If you could give us 2 tips on how to mend the relationship between police and community, what would you say?
Oh yeah, well one of the things I would say is we have to be transparent. That's all the Black and brown community want is transparency. If you actually kill somebody and it was a mistake, we're forgiveful people. If it was a mistake, it was a mistake. We can go with that. And the other thing is I want as many Black and brown people, kids, available to get into the system, because you can't make change unless you're a part of the system. Because if we're on the outside looking in saying F the police, guess who's going to be getting those $100,000 jobs? Guess who's going to be setting rules and policy in your town where you live? We have to be inside to make the change. I was one that was able to get inside and then be a commander in some of the biggest precincts in the city. So I was the number one guy. I had 400 something people working for me, where I was setting policy and procedure. And that's what we got to do. But again, I just want to thank you so much, Dawn, for bringing me on the show. You know, we'll be in touch. I'm definitely coming to the Shy.
Yay.
I want to come to the Shy. I don't want to go to that part of the Shy where all those guns and stuff are. But
oh, I got you. I got concealed and carry. I'm good.
Only if I'm with you in the car as superhero.
Yeah, because my superhero is Teflon Dawn. That's me.
Yeah. Nah, listen, I want to go to the grittiest part of every city I could go to touch these kids, to let them know to put those guns and drugs down and try to give them some, motivation to change their lives.
I'm with that. Let's make it happen. Corey Pegues, y'all, Once a Cop is available. I got mine on Amazon. If you have Prime or a Primate, from my joke yesterday, make sure you order it, listen to it, and share it, y'all. Like, I'm not going to tell you to burn it like we used to, because y'all don't even have CD players, but listen to it and really listen to it twice, because some of it you'll miss in the first listen. You have to listen to it twice to really understand it. Corey Pegues, thank you. We're proud of you, and I'm looking forward to working with you in our city, because we got to do better in Chicago, and we're going to need your help. Buy the book, Once a Cop. The link is in the thread, and I will hit you offline when I get done today. Thank you, Corey. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sis. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Say bye, y'all.
Bye.
Hi,
Thank you so much.
Show your manners. That was dope. I can share my book with you if you want me to, but you'll have to give it back. You want to listen to my audio book?
Yes, I would love to.
Okay, you listen to
look, I was just going to ask. You're going to have to share that with me.
I will.
I would love
to.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, it's so, like, when you read, sometimes you have to re-listen. So then you like rewind. It's like, what? Like, because it's grimy. It's a good grimy, though.
And I be on the go so much. I'm going to need some
It's
audio
easy in the car.
books. I'm going to need some.
But you will literally, like, I got to finish the chapter. Because, first of all, do y'all know who the Supreme Team is? Like, do y'all have any idea? Like,
Who is it?
The gang, the Supreme Team. Do you know, hold on. The Supreme.
Hook us up. Who is it?
The Supreme Team is something, I would have to liken it to our gangs.
It's like a real, gang?
Like
Never heard of
like BD, GD, like Hoover type. Yeah. So the Supreme Team was an organized crime syndicate. You hear me? The word syndicate is the deal breaker here. That operated throughout the 1980s in New York City. Their headquarters was in Baisley Park in South Jamaica, Queens, New York. Their leaders were Kenneth Supreme McGriff and his nephew Gerald Prince Miller. In 1989, McGriff spent 10 years in federal prison for a narcotics conviction. In 2007, McGriff was convicted in federal court of racketeering, 2 murder for hire homicides, narcotics trafficking, engaging in illegal financial transactions with drug money, and although facing the death penalty for this conviction, he was ultimately sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. But if you like, they have some documentaries on the Supreme Team. Like, it was organized crime.
And they started where?
In New York City. It's like, it says at its peak in 1987, the Supreme Team's receipts exceeded $200,000 a day. They was getting money. Yeah, 200 a day. That's $1 million in a week. And just the takedown of them, like, is fascinating. Like, because the way they had to infiltrate. The one went to one state and the other one who was running it went to another state, and how they had to literally infiltrate to get the intel to tap the phones. It's an interesting, that story. Listening to him on the documentary made me find his book, and then I needed to know who the Supreme Team was. So then I found the information and it was just like, okay, this shit is real. Like, his story is for real. He not lying. Like, he was out here on some ish and literally made a choice. I don't know.
That's what we need on the streets. We need that type of testimony and story, like he said, coming back and talking to the kids.
Yeah,
because I often
he made
think
a choice, and what we didn't talk about was he had a charge, a pending charge, that he was able to, that did not prohibit him from getting into the armed services. But he basically kept it to himself. Like, he kept the fact that he knew he was not gonna keep doing this life, and had already started the process of being in the service, but kept that away from the gang and the narcotics, because he didn't want anything to prohibit him from actually making that move, and basically just made a clean break. Just moved himself out, did his time, came back, stayed low, started with the New York City police. It was like a whole lot of people don't even have the courage to do that.
I was just about to say that transition is, how dangerous is that transition? Probably
extremely dangerous. Until then you come back as a police, right?
I'm thinking about an initiative at some. There's a way.
I just don't know that a lot of people even have the courage to do what he did.
What if they were offered? What if let's say the police offered to all these young kids a space on the police force?
Well, to
turn them around?
Didn't they used to have like a junior? Didn't I want to say?
You get what I'm saying? Something that's going to say, okay, we see what you're doing. This is where this is going. You have an option here. Come join us. For that turnaround effect, for this type of effect that we just witnessed today.
Yeah.
You mean all of that? Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get up off these streets. Yeah. You want a gun in your hand? Put the right gun in your hand.
Yeah.
Let's build a community that way. I wonder if there's some type of initiative that can be put in place.
Even more so, maybe if we take the things that would prohibit them from being a police, mistakes they made as a youth, right?
And
erase
it.
Yeah.
And say, come through.
Yeah.
Turn this around. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. Like a grace type of initiative.
Yeah.
That would just clean up streets real quick. He
is the evidence of that it can happen.
It can.
I mean, he was raised by a strong family in church, so he always had it in him.
Oh, yeah.
Like we all do. And then that little compass.
I don't know if I would want recruiting them like that to become a thing, though. You know, like the Army, like how they recruit students right out of high school.
It's not out of high school. It's off the streets.
Off the streets?
Yeah,
it's not out of high school. It's off the streets.
She's suggesting, okay, because he dropped out at some point. He got kicked out of high school, but then he went back. Like, he literally got his shit together, for the lack of a better
I thought
term.
she was like suggesting like, you know, like a program that get them from school, like young out
You're
of
talking
school.
about like not ROTC-ish.
Yeah, like, I don't think
not ROTC-ish.
ROTC-ish.
Yeah,
Nah,
not like
I'm
that.
just talking
So
about
we're talking about like, say, the homie.
one of these top heads, the guy that was in here
Yeah.
on May's show.
Yeah, like so.
Come to a group of folks and say, "Yo, let's sit at this
I
table.
will
let's do
erase
this,
all
I'll erase
your
all of that.
record.
Come and make good on this."
Yeah,
More
yeah,
like Corey though.
yeah, I do too. He first of all,
Or more like Corey.
yeah,
Yeah,
Well, like-
definitely. Yeah, Ron. Okay.
You know
okay.
why? Because he is us.
That's what I'm saying.
He is us, and he did things that half of us have never done or could never do, and literally had in himself knew, let me get myself together. Let me go here strategically, do this, and never let, when you hear the story, right? When you listen to the book, you hear the story of how many times he tried to move up or in the police department and got pushed back, but never stopped studying, never stopped taking the test to be the lieutenant, and like he does.
He has a blueprint.
He
I
does.
believe that blueprint can be implemented so that we can clean up streets.
I
restore our
agree.
people.
I agree. Which is exactly why when his team said what day, I said it has to be for the culture day, because that to me is literally for the culture in the best way. He's still one of us. I mean, again, when you listen to the story, he talked about when he would go to work with cornrows. Like he was our brother. And they would be like, you got a cornrows? Like what cop is wearing cornrows? And he said that I called him the cop with the Diddy Bob, because he said he had this little, the little swag you have when you out here in these streets. He said I couldn't change it.
Yeah.
He said I couldn't change it. He was himself authentically, which
that
why
transparency that he was talking about. It's necessary.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh, we got to stop.
I actually like his position on the word defund versus restructure, because we do want police. We don't want the police in the way that they are, but we definitely want. I do. Like I don't want them in its current state, but I definitely need to be able to. I got a crazy stalker friend.
About somebody to call.
Somebody, because we.
You said, how about somebody to call?
We just need somebody to call.
Yeah.
For help.
Yeah.
I mean, because or raped, or it's a whole lot of kidnapped. I'm not saying in its current state, but we can't just not have. We can't be lawless. Like we can't be out here riding.
Yeah, I don't think that's. I'm not in agreement with that, but we definitely need a place to go.
He definitely has a blueprint.
Yeah,
I cannot wait. I think I'd rather have. I don't know if I want him to do. Like I got something to do with it. I don't know if I want him to have a movie or a TV show.
He's going to have a TV show. That's
Okay.
TV show material, because it keeps going and keeps going. It sounds like it's a very broad story, and you want to start it from the beginning and tell it all the way to the end. With the movie, you only going to get your 2 hours.
That's
but
all.
With the series, you're going to get the whole story. You can go more into detail. So I'm looking forward to the series.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Live to tell the story. He did that. It's going to happen. We got.
Hopefully they'll film
Let's
it.
implement
Look, hopefully they'll film it at CineSpace. Well, I guess they would have to do it in New York, so it'd be real authentic, unlike Empire. Yeah.
Unlike our Chicago non-authentic.
Yeah,
areas.
like Empire, acting like they in New York and they in Chicago. Quit playing
2
with
weeks
my
out of the year we in Chicago. It's too cold.
Tomorrow's
Whatever.
Freestyle Friday. I have literally no plans, so we're gonna be winging it.
Freestyle.
We're gonna be free.
Bring your poetry.
Bring me.
Yes.
I got a. You want me to write a poem? Okay.
Or your rap.
Okay. Okay, nephew. I think that one's for you. Hey, y'all, check out these 2 things. It's not the stab in the back that hurts you. It's when you turn around to see who's holding the knife.
Aww.
What about your friends? Or nah? And not all storms come to disrupt your life. Some come to clear your path. Be okay. Sometimes the storm will move some shit out the way.
I think that's what I'm dealing with right now.
The storm
Storm
clearing
is like
a path.
Clearing the path.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I believe that. You're so deep, Matthew.
I'm over here like,
He's so deep. I love it. Listen, thank you for tuning in. Remember to lead with love. Use your voice to be a positive impact. Do something for somebody other than your damn self, okay? On purpose, for free. We got date night tomorrow night, right? Date night?
Riddles.
We're going to the comedy joint.
Almost
right?
forgot.
Yeah, we got date night tomorrow night. A field trip.
Turn up.
Yeah, I can't wait. Foolery talent is really dope. He was on the show early on. I got to tell y'all a story. I'll tell you off air and then on air because that's one of them stories too. In the Bahamas, it was so funny. But I got to tell you off air first. Okay. Thank you for tuning in. Lead with love. Be a positive impact. Positive impact. Who's up next? Who got next?
Torre
Muhammad is next. Stay tuned. Keep it locked. Peace.
And
roll tide roll.
That's how we finna do it.
WIFTBPM